This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. You really can. We are live in the studio. Please text the show on 81215. Or you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. There's a bit before the show, the live show begins. There's a bit where I say this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio and then go. And I always forget every week that bit's going to happen. And I'm saying on Absolute Radio, not knowing what I'm going to say next. And one week I'm going to say something I'm worried majorly controversial. That'll be the end of my career.
Could happen.
Oh,
no.
Stress of it.
It would just be quite a sort of petty way to go as well.
It would not even like the show proper. It's on the ramp.
You're worth more than that.
Speaking of what I'm worth, if I mean morally,
Gather round.
if I
How are you doing, Al?
I pull my chair in. I'm listening.
yeah, just pull your chair in. If I'd arrived today, now this is a serious question. If I arrived in Crocs today, what would be your response to that?
I mean, mainly laughter.
Okay. What about you, Em?
Why are you even bothering to ask me? I
Okay.
mean, you know the response,
I
right?
would also give you some kudos in my head. I'd be thinking, you know, he's made his money. He's stopped caring. He's turned up in Crocs.
Okay, so fair enough.
I'd give you some animal
He's got a
carcass.
partner. He's not bothered. Good for him.
Now, I took my son to get him some Crocs.
He's allowed.
Today. And I don't know if I told you this, but the last time I took him to the shoe shop to get him Crocs, the woman measured him and she said he is in between Crocs at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, you must wait, he's too small, too big.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't get him. He was in between Crocs. So and now he's hit the next Croc, basically. But I was getting them, and it did occur to me, where did Crocism come from? Because when they first came out, I remember when kiwi fruits first hit the shelves.
Yeah.
And there was quite a hubbub of excitement. What? Have you
imagine.
tried those?
Yeah.
Green but sweet.
Some of them taste a bit banana-y. That must have been discussed a lot in the early kiwi fruits.
And with the
Did they taste
with the
banana?
coat, which is a bit. I've had an argument with the wife. I'm sleeping on the sofa. That's what I love about kiwi fruit.
Yeah, but it was a revelation. But I seem to remember when Crocs came out, there was quite a pause vibe initially.
Oh, yeah.
All these things. Have you seen those Crocs? They don't need laces, no Velcro. And people say...
He's lost it. He's using the phrase pos vibe.
There's a range of colours. And it was like the, Birkenstocks was what your sort of Guardian reader went for, and the Crocs was the man's.
I can remember the first pair I ever saw, and I can remember who was wearing them.
Who was wearing them?
Ross Noble.
Oh, well, there you
Sorry,
go.
why are we talking like this? It's like, where was I when Kennedy was shot?
I think
It's a similar thing.
I think it's more
similar
relevant. Anyway.
Can I tell you what's happened, Frank? Crocs, I mean, I have to be honest, I never went through I don't have those misty watercoloured memories, because for me it was always chefs and children.
Well, I think chefs have, they've embraced them, certainly. But I have a friend who is a violinist, and he wears them.
Well, notice you don't want to name him, though. What does that tell you about Crocs?
Well, I don't
think Nigel Kennedy counts.
But I don't know how we... Look, if there's anyone out there, 8, 12, 15... Why?
What's going to happen now?
Why did the Crocs backlash happen? That's what I want to know because I don't know why it happened. I don't know when it happened. They went from, I interviewed Heidi Klum once.
She wasn't in them, was she?
She'd got her own brand with decorate. You remember the Croc decorations when that happened? So you could put little flowers on and stuff.
Oh, charms.
That
Croc
was when they were
charms.
still in the nation's heart. But now, I think, am I identifying with Crocs here in some way? That's what worries me.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, Frank, you've lit up the switchboard
Have I?
on the old texting about Crocs request.
Is there any interesting theories?
Well,
092 has said 5 pairs of Crocs. 5 pairs of Crocs convert. 50,000 surgeons can't be wrong.
Oh, surgeons wear white Crocs.
We
do they?
hadn't thought of those, had we, in our job
surgeons
titles that wear Crocs?
can wear the hell what they want.
They can.
What would put me off
Stunning.
that is if you're wearing the Crocs and socks, when you take your surgeon shoes off, there's like blood in the shape of the holes in the Crocs where it's splashed over
fine.
the side of them.
Yeah. Well, what worries me is we've now got mask wearing mandated because surgeons wear them.
Yeah.
And I don't want mandated Crocs by this
Yeah,
government.
but why not? Why not, Al?
Well, I tell you, we've had on Twitter, Gorgeous G 111. You see those holes? That's where a little of your soul leaks out every time you wear them.
This is why the string vest was vetoed, I suppose. There are people that have problems with groupings of small holes, aren't there? It's a phobia. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tryptophobia.
Oh.
We talked about it with the
Lovely workout.
The new
The
iPhone or something. Other
and
phones are available.
crumpets.
Crumpets, yes. Oh, yes. No.
Love
Yeah.
a crumpet personally, but
And
anyway.
Billy I Am says you used them to mince beef. I know what he means.
I know I did, yeah. Yeah, I did them on Room 101. Scarlett Moffat tried to put them into Room 101, which I didn't allow. But yes, I put sausage meat into them to make. But, on panel shows, they're good money panel shows, but, you don't want them in your time capsule. But this is a show for truth. This is where you get my heart. This is not me joking. I genuinely... They seem a really clever, practical shoe. I don't know why people have turned against them.
Have you bought yourself a pair? Is that what the end of this story
No, I've
is?
got a pair. It's not like I'm after a pair or anything. I've got a
Right.
pair. But I realise that I have been shamed into just putting them on, to go and get
What's
the
your
bins
worst
and
Crocs
stuff.
colour? Mine is khaki. Makes me ill.
Oh.
Khaki.
I've
thought
got,
of that.
I don't know what I'd call mine, tan. I've got a tan pair.
Yeah, it's tan. Tan's my worst Croc colour.
Oh.
I hadn't thought of it until now, but that's nailed it.
My son asked for Tottenham blue.
Oh.
So that's why he...
Why is it okay when children wear it though? I mean, they're
Cute.
allowed.
Yeah, but then again, if I came in a one-piece suit with a hood on it, you'd
Yeah.
think, well, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, if my shoes
Wow.
had wheels on.
I'd say he doesn't normally do that in public, is what
Yeah.
I'd say.
Shoes on wheels, I don't see why that would be. I think, not for the elderly. That would be ridiculous. But, it was my partner's birthday at the weekend. I won't say how old she was, but it was a big one. It was one of the big... I'll go on, I'll say it. She was 18. And no, she wasn't. She wasn't. Can I ask you a question? If I said she was 94, would that be better or worse than she was 18?
The producer's nodding as if better, I
Better.
think.
94
Much
would be better.
better.
Isn't that strange that
Isn't it?
how we balance it? Courting death is more acceptable than courting life. But no, she's obviously she's a bit older than that. I'll be straight with you. But I bought her a present, and I'll tell you after the break because it's not complicated, but I'm already feeling anxiety in my shoulders. I'm tensing it at the shoulders.
I don't
just
think it was
thinking-
Crocs, dear.
No, it wasn't Crocs. It wasn't Crocs. Oh my! I never thought of that.
Frank Skinner on Absolute
Radio.
As I say, it was my partner's birthday, and
yes.
it's a big one. And I bought her Apple Music. Now I don't
All
know
of
if
it?
you know, it's a streaming service.
I'm a fan myself.
Yes, well, I was at the Brits one year, and there was a 3-month trial thing, and I thought I'd give it a go. And
Don't say you gave her that.
no,
Oh God.
no, unfortunately that had gone.
still
I wish
here.
I had, as you will see.
You're still here, so clearly
Yeah,
not.
so I found it life changing.
Did you?
Yeah,
Strong
and she loves
recommendation.
music, you know. Not many people love music more than my partner, so I thought this is the dream gift. So I got family Apple Music, me, Boz, and Kath all.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
So you send out like emails saying, you have Apple
Congratulations
Music.
is
Something
pushing
like,
it.
Something like that. And they send them. I didn't word it. I didn't write the emails. But anyway, I got a call from Kath as soon as I realised the emails had gone out. And it was as close as she has ever said to me, what is the meaning of this? She said, what is this? What's this? And I said, well, I know it's a bit early, but she said, no, but what is it? I said, I bought you Apple Music. She said, I don't want it. I've told you I don't want it. I don't want any more complications in my life.
Oh, I see.
I said, no, but you just press, like a list comes up. I don't want it. I don't want all that. No, I told you.
I feel the same way as her. I'm a
you?
bit scared of that sort of thing, yeah.
But it's a very passive.
Terrifies me.
You go on and search, and you might put in. Well, what have I put in recently? George Jones, because I've been
Jones.
watching the Ken Burns country music
have you?
documentary series, which I must say, even if you don't like country music, is amazing. If you do, it's through the roof. Anyway, do you know Ken Burns? No, but thanks for the tip.
So she
That's
reacted
it. You put the
very-
name in, 10 albums come up, you just listen to music. But she won't use it. She's told me she will not use it. I've paid for it now. So that's that.
Oh.
I mean, ways of upsetting. We was watching a programme about the history of the nude on BBC Art coverage.
Oh, here we go.
And they had some Cranach paintings of Adam and Eve.
Love
And I
Cranach.
felt a slight tension in the room with the Apple references. I felt, honestly, I could feel an atmosphere. So, of gifts I've bought, which I thought this is perfect, that have gone, I can't think of a greater gap between the anticipation and the result.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we have had a missive from somebody suggesting that we're being a bit classist discussing Crocs because we're sort of laughing at people for wearing them.
Well, A, I'm heartily defending them and saying I don't know why people don't like them. B, the people I see wearing them tend to be North London bohemians who've got white hair but a ponytail, which isn't a bad thing.
And often a Daunt books bag.
But don't books bag.
We've also already covered surgeons. They don't seem like working class heroes
but
to me. But
I'm glad there's still someone keeping an eye out for that sort of thing. But I think on this occasion,
Yes.
good on you.
yeah.
But I don't think. I think the arrow has missed its target. But if we do that, let us know, because I don't want to be that person.
No.
Apple Music, which is a bit expensive. I'm just trying to get, also, I love Apple Music. So that has.
Do you think she'll ever come round, Kath?
Well, I bought her an iPod once, and she said, I don't know if I'm ever going to use this. And I said, well, I think, it's got music on it. You run, it's perfect.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, but, I've got used to the mini discs.
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
That was
18 months ago.
not as long ago as it should have been. So,
Mini discs. I've got used to the 8-track.
but this is a woman, I can't tell you, the Cocteau. Look, just lately, the Cocteau twins. That's all I hear coming from her
Right.
office. Ulrich Schnauz. That's her life. Is music. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Anyway, it's been rejected heftily. I got her a Wild Swimming magazine. That went probably better than the much more expensive Apple Music. But it's not about money.
It's not.
But was the celebration a success on the whole? The day itself?
Generally. There was a conversation when I was called into her bedroom when she said, "Why have you got caterers in?"
Oh.
So she's not an easy woman to buy for. But I was trying to make it a special day, but it turned out.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
I'd like to apologise to my wife, who I didn't get caterers in on her birthday.
Well,
in fact, she made a dinner.
Good choice. It all turned out fine. The food was lovely and that, but it was. I think at one point she suggested I'd spoiled her birthday by getting in professional caterers to cook her a lunch. So, I'll tell you what was a hit though.
What?
Emily bought my son Buzz a Lego Hogwarts.
Oh, cool.
That's not those things you get on pigs that you think, is that hair or somebody stuck to it? That is a thing where if he's looking at a computer screen, I get very anxious. I think, oh, that's bad for him. But he gets utterly lost in Lego. Lost in Lego would have been, we're lost in Lego.
Caught in a trap.
Ain't no turning back. We're lost in Lego. They should use that. Why do they use that?
I can't imagine why. It's so cool.
Absolutely.
I can
perfect.
imagine it, Frank. I can imagine them doing a sort of show, those sort of like show for kids or something once a day at Legoland. And they'd be
good.
singing that.
Oh, yeah, and people, actors who hadn't quite made it,
Yeah.
dressed as
dare you.
Lego characters, with holding their hands like little hooks.
Give it
We're
time. I might
lost
be
in
there.
Lego.
And it would sound a bit session singer and not quite the right version.
And you'd get those actors that come up to you and start talking to you, and you think, look, I know this is supposed to make it a richer experience, but I've never been more embarrassed in my whole life.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I was talking about Emily's excellent gift to my son, which was it's Hogwarts. It included, I think, the Whomping Willow.
It's the Whomping
Well, that's
Willow.
good.
Yeah.
with car stuck in branches.
Well, I got a
Very good.
lovely message. He sent me a picture. The simplicity was nice of the completed Whomping Willow as a thank you.
Ah,
That's
And I
nice.
replied, and I did a bit of a joke because I thought that might be nice. Bit of bants we have,
Yeah.
Buzz and I. I said, "Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. It looks amazing. Please, may I move in?" Now, do you know what I got? I got back a cat cry laughing emoji, and that made my day.
oh, the modern world. I've tried so hard to keep him off the screen. When I watch him on screen things, I that when you get a little bit of sick in the back of your throat. I
Yeah.
get that, but when he's doing Lego, I feel tremendously. I'll tell you what I did think. Do you remember on the show? I think it was last week. We talked about the kid who stuck a Lego piece up his nose.
Yeah.
I could see he's so utterly focused. I could see that one might do that just as not even think about it whilst you're in the midst of it.
Yeah.
I've taken just this last week, and something I haven't done since I lived in Oldbury in the West Midlands. I've taken to putting a pencil behind my ear.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know about you, if I sit
It's a good
right,
place for it, though.
if I sit writing, there's always a moment where I can't find the pen that I've been
Yeah.
writing with. It's in a fold in my shirt. It's down the side of the
Yeah.
And behind the ear, I'd forgotten the convenience.
It's a really useful place for it.
Yeah, it's shelving.
Yeah.
It's God's
Yes.
shelving.
I mean, you know you've not invented this, don't you?
No, it was a thing that tradesmen.
Yeah.
My dad used to do it, and
Yes.
sometimes I've seen him with a pencil behind one ear and a cigarette behind the other in the
Oh.
golden days.
I see it as quite sort of newspaper man in a 1940s film with the spinning sort of headlines.
Yeah, but it makes sense because it's so easy if you're sitting writing to put in the wrong place. Oh, I recommend that. I've switched very much back to
One of your modern recommendations. Put your pen behind your ear.
yeah, pencil. I've
It's a real
almost
civic duty, this show, isn't it?
I've almost given up on the biro. I cannot live. You know that moment when you're writing with a biro and it stops writing?
Just too heartbreaking for you.
I hate that
I
so
hate
much.
it.
And it won't even, if you go back over, you have to go and scribble on another page.
Useless cradle.
I hate that. It becomes like you might as well use roll-on deodorant.
Oh,
Well, suddenly you've got an empty husk in your
Yeah.
hands.
Well, no, but it's the pens. You can see ink in there. It just it
Yeah.
winna come out. I can't tell you. That is one. You know, if they bring Room 101 back, I won't be hosting it.
Oh dear.
No, I think they've made that clear. Too old. It's fine. And ageism. It's the least. It's the least.
protected.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I don't care. That's what I'd put in. Is that moment when a pen does that? It did make me think. Though it'd be good if you had roll-on deodorant that was coloured, so you could see if your roll-on deodorant is doing it. 'Cause you don't want to leave a patch under
That's
the.
such a great idea, and it's lovely when you're wearing a black velvet dress or something.
Well, you could use
Great
black.
idea,
You could
yeah.
use black for that.
Oh yeah, black powder all under my arms.
Well, but what I was thinking is when it starts to wear a bit thin, day 4, you'd be able to see the where you need to top it up.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it's like having the 4th bridge under each arm. You're constantly at it.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Anyway, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. I'd love you to. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. That's my advice.
Okay,
Can I say,
you may.
a lady I heard from...
A lady.
I went to see a lady, I've been there before. Shoes and stockings all round her head and feet all over the floor.
Oh, okay.
Everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Joe Rockos. I wonder if she's related to
Cleo.
To Cleo. She used to be at everything, Cleo Rockos.
Yeah, she
Don't know who
was.
that
Remember?
is.
She was in the Kenny Everett
Oh.
show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So she said, I hope you enjoy these books. Thanks for all the laughs. Oh, what a night that was. And she sent me a random selection, it seems to me. There's a book by Washington Irving. There's a
Lovely.
book by a poet I've never heard of called
Called.
Orby Shipley.
Okay.
Orby Shipley, as far as I can tell. I'll probably find out that's a publisher. But the jewel in the crown is Jake's Progress, which is a book of lyrics from Jake Thackeray.
Oh,
Now,
nice.
if you don't know Jake Thackeray at home, you guys at home or wherever you are, he was one of the great singer-songwriters of the 60s and 70s. I saw him live on many occasions. And it's got, for example, the lyrics to Brother Gorilla, which you may know. I'll give you a little...
I like your impression. as well.
Through the bars of a large enclosure, the village ladies intently stared where a gorilla with massive composure was impassively combing his hair.
And so it goes on.
Nice gift.
Yeah.
Lovely gift.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
the Jake thing, I don't know what to make of the others, but we'll keep digging, so thanks for that.
You mentioned hearing from people by text message. We've had a text from 337, Tracy. Morning, Frank and team. My dad was a cabinet maker, brackets carpenter. I knew that anyway. I grew up genuinely thinking he grew pencils out of his ear. He never corrected me.
I
You know,
can
'cause we were
see,
talking about-
if you're a carpenter, it's got to be. If you're a chippy,
Yeah.
if you're a chippy,
Cabinet maker's good. I wouldn't have liked my dad to be a candlestick maker.
Oh.
I don't know though. I think we
I
did
do
one.
like
I think
that.
we did one of those in woodwork once. The
did you?
candlestick,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was quite. It felt quite.
No, I just like
Something.
to have the option to branch out. That's all.
Well, you could have a candelabra.
Oh, lovely.
Da, 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 da.
Thank you, Liberace. I'll be the Scot to your Liberace.
Yeah, well,
Anytime.
Okay. Your place or mine? I've got to put my wig on a. He had like a head, I think, at the size of the bath that he used to put his wig on before he got in the bath. I like the idea of that. It's like having company. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know when you lay your clothes out the night before you go to bed?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Did
having
you
a
do that last
sentinel, a
night,
silent
then?
sentinel at your side.
Did you do that last night, Frank?
I do it most
love
nights. Yeah.
Love it.
I used to. I actually take the socks and put the socks in the bottom of the trousers, but that stopped. That was looking back. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also got a letter from Odysseus Constantine.
Odysseus.
Odysseus Constantine, spelled not how I would spell Odysseus, but I remember when I registered my child, the registrar said we get a lot of people come here now, and we're not allowed to tell them the spelling. He said, she said, and that's where all the weird spellings come from, because people say
That's why you get Chanel double L, etc.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're accusing Odysseus' family of?
no, not at all.
You see, you say it right. I say Odysseus. I think Odysseus
I
is
think-
correct.
I think Odysseus.
No, I think you're right.
Look, you say Odysseus, I say Odysseus.
It might have changed recently, like Boudica. You know,
Let's call the whole thing Jason. Anyway, he works for Art and Hugh, which I think,
Yes.
is that the Christian names of Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah, they're they're
Hugh
very
Simon.
good to us. They send us lovely
Yeah, they
things.
do send, and they've sent me some
Hello.
late birthday presents for my child, Beano pop art prints.
nice.
Oh,
And I
love
read
Art
that out. As
Hugh.
I read that out, I think I wonder if he's covered the rights on this, but we won't.
They're very responsible. I trust them.
Yeah, but you know when you
implicitly.
get Donald Duck on a fairground ride and it's got teeth.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What's that?
I spoke this morning with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler.
I wish that had been you and I.
How was it? It was too bad.
I want to discuss Thomas Cruise the Fourth, I believe he is.
Is it?
Sighting.
Oh,
yes.
I think he's got another name, isn't he?
I know what it is. Having had a
Cruz is
crush.
his middle name, isn't it?
Oh, sir, can I tell
Go
you
on,
the name?
yes,
Having had a crush for some time. May Pother.
Maypother.
that's right.
Oh,
May
I don't
Pother.
like Maypother.
May Pother.
Maypother.
It's an Irish name, I believe.
Is it?
He's Irish. There's Irish in there.
Maypother. I don't like the way it falls away at the end. It
Yeah.
starts with May, so right, bang, and then
Yeah.
It's spelled.
bit like the way Tom's gone, film-wise.
Oh, how
Oh.
dare you! It's spelt Mapother, but it's pronounced Maypother.
Well,
He's been in the UK. He's been shooting Mission Impossible 7.
7 and 8.
Oh,
Is it really?
Is
He's
it?
shooting 7 and
Is it honestly?
maybe it's about time they admitted that mission is actually
Very
impossible. Yeah. Just give up on it. It took 8 films. I mean, that's a mission. They could have been doing other missions in other films.
I like the fact that he's bringing a comedian's double-up approach to making films.
I know.
Back in the days when we had live comedy, a comic could do
Yeah.
2 gigs on a Saturday night.
Well,
And
I used to do 5.
I've done 5, but you can't do 5 films simultaneously.
You probably
surely.
could those films.
Yeah, they're mainly running about.
Just
Oh, how
shoot
dare you.
the exploding cars from different angles. Change the odd license plate.
Stop the old black polo neck so you don't get the marks, the
7
white
and 8.
marks.
I see that shocks me. That I thought Tommy That was the thing when I grew up, that people
Love
called
Tommy.
Tom would be called Tommy.
Should we call him Tommy?
If you like.
Tommy. No, Tommy they'd call him. Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
There was a bloke he was called Tom Jones, I remember, and they used to call him Tommy Junes. I remember a mate of mine said, I said, Tommy Junes down Albury. Anyway, Tom, I'm surprised he's doing a 7 and 8 of anything. He wouldn't have done that in the old days, would he?
Wow.
No, nothing's got that far as...
I think it's fairly lucrative, that franchise.
Yeah.
Do you know how old he is, you two? Any ideas? Should we do our little guess?
Whoa.
To you first. I'm going to go to you, Alan Cochrane.
Okay, my guess is somewhere between 50 and 85. I think he's a confusing one.
Well, that's a bit silly, Billy.
I think he's younger than me. 58.
Correct, absolutely.
Oh. Da, 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 da. That needs a jingle.
I've just got real flashbacks to school where I say something silly and then a SWAT pipes up with the perfect answer, and now I feel double silly.
Sorry, I feel very Hermione Granger.
You know what I like? That was the fact that you guessed that Tom Cruise was 58, and then we played The Boys Are Back in Town.
Well, he was back.
Show thing ever.
He was back in town. Can I ask you a question? How long has it been since Tom Cruise was in the best-looking bloke chair?
Great question. For me, he's still in there.
Really?
Yeah, love that man.
He's good.
I think probably.
5 years?
Oh no, 20.
Yeah.
No.
I think
20?
in his defence, I'll say this: I think he's still a good-looking guy, but I think he's so
Stunning.
firmly in the does his own stunts chair that he can't have another chair.
He can't straddle chairs.
To me, he's in the signs autographs for everyone who's turned up chair.
He's got the help some person at a scene of accident.
Yeah. He's got publicists saying this is all very well, but I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, standing on the red carpet
Booked
while
a babysitter for tonight.
Yeah. And so easily lost in a crowd. I mean, he's essentially a travel celebrity. Apparently, he flew over here in a holdall.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Tom Cruise being in London.
Yeah.
This.
My man.
Do you remember when he was on Oprah?
Oh, yeah.
And he was announcing that he was in love with Katie
Holmes.
Katie.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah. And he got on the sofa and jumped up and down on the sofa in excitement.
Yeah.
People thought he was mad, didn't they?
Well, I think love, the madman, the lover and the poet are of an imagination all compact, as you know.
Yeah.
So I suppose it was supposed to be he was so much in love that he was, it was an interesting. It made me think. I've been in a relationship coming up for 20 years with breaks, and how long? I know they say how long is a piece of string, but how long is the period from jumping on the sofa to having to sleep on it? I think that would be an interesting analysis to put it. Has it worked with him and Katie Holmes? I think he actually slept on an armchair, if I remember rightly.
All right.
They divorced when she was 33, which I think is his thing.
Oh, does he?
All of his marriages have ended when the wife was 33.
Is that right?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a coincidence. I don't think he's got a calendar going for not long now.
No, it might be a thing, superstition thing.
Yeah. He'd be lovely for me, wouldn't he? He might go for the older woman now.
He might.
I might have to wait till he's 80. Do you know what I mean? I think it's when they're 80 they think, oh, okay.
Maybe.
I don't think he's going to make 80.
Don't you?
No, do your own stunts. No.
Well, I like that he does his own stunts, because what I would say is it gives the film the added jeopardy element
I don't think they'll put it out.
that you don't get with a younger man. Chris
if he
Hemsworth,
enters.
I know he's going to be fine. He's not
Oh,
going
I
to need a
see.
hip replacement if he jumps
Yeah.
on that building.
Does Daniel Craig do his own stunt?
I think he probably has to do some of them
Yeah,
just to
he
keep
does.
up a little bit with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I think there must be pressure on these people to
there's
do their own
definitely.
when they don't want to do it.
Definitely.
Tom's the OG, though. He always will be for me. He posted... Did you see the video he posted
I
this
did.
week? What did
Is
you
this
think?
where he was in the taxi?
In a black cab.
Yeah, I found it very difficult to relax because obviously I was worrying about the meter.
Of course you were.
I spent the whole thing just gripping the arms of the chair.
Can I tell you what I thought? I thought, how lovely to be that rich and famous that you can wander around London without any accoutrement. So Tom, he's in the cab, he gets out, he's just got the black polo neck and the mask, no coat, no Daunt Books bag,
Brilliant.
nothing.
I wish he'd been suspended from the ceiling of the cab on cord.
Like a baby walker.
Mission
Oh, I see.
Impossible. What did you think of the video?
Well, it made me think. It made me think. Yeah, he must be doing well if he's getting a black cab. I think only Americans get black cabs anymore, don't they? Is that what's happened? They've become like gondolas. I think they're very much a tourist. Is that right?
That's like the Central Park horse carriage.
Yeah, it is. Gondolas, Central Park horse carriage, and the black cab. I mean, I could be out of date, but that's how it feels. So it was nice to see him putting some money into the traditional old business.
He waved at three girls on bikes, didn't he? By Buckingham Palace, and he says, "How does that happen? I'm wearing a mask."
I thought that was a bit of what they call a humble brag. Did you?
Did they definitely recognise him?
Do you think he faked it?
Well, I wasn't sure that they had recognised him,
Oh, I see.
and because he waved and they waved back. No, I reckon I could.
They might just think he's like a bit simple and waving at
Well, they
people
could think
as
if
he's
somebody
driving around.
waves to you, if I'm on the motorway and there's a kid in the car in front waving to the back window,
Always.
I'll wave back.
Yeah.
Or they
Perhaps
could
they
have.
think that's what he was.
Maybe they just do that, like you say, because if the black cab is like the gondola, it's like, wow, someone's in a black cab.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, America. Hooray. We love you, America.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were discussing Tom
Very
Cruise's humble brag there, weren't we? Where I think it was a humble brag. Or I think he's waving at the people in the park. They see a little guy in the back of a black cab with a mask on and a camera crew and go, "Oh, look, it's someone a big deal."
That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
Camera crew, good point. And also, he's going past Buckingham Palace. He's waving from a car.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he was. I mean, in my glory days, I used to have a thing called Key Man Insurance,
Oh, yeah.
which meant. Do you remember when we won that prize? Me and Emily were part of a quiz team.
Say who we beat, Frank, remember?
We beat more or less every journalist.
Here's Morgan.
Yeah, more or less every leading journalist in the country had their own quiz teams, and we won comedians and sort of babes and comedians.
It was the
Yeah.
90s, okay?
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, and
No judgment from me.
but we won a ride in a. Would you like to fly in my beautiful balloon? We won a ride in a hot air
It was
balloon.
me, you,
Oh.
David, Badil. There was all sorts on that team.
Uh-huh.
You know the hot air balloon. Oh, isn't this beautiful? And it's so peaceful. That. And I wasn't allowed to go up by my insurance company because I had Keyman Insurance. I couldn't ride a horse. I couldn't. So Tom Cruise, who must have an insurance policy, I mean, that goes on forever, he's going to the cinema in London. He's getting capped. I'm amazed. Some production manager will be absolutely furious about this, I think.
Well, I think he did the cinema visit. You know, he wants to encourage people back into the cinemas.
Yeah, I think him and the
Why
taxi
doesn't
driver
he?
went to Wagamama's and ate out to help out straight after.
Yeah.
They got half-price dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't try to encourage people back into the cinema through the medium of film. Why has he stopped trying that?
What about when you saw him outside the BFI, the IMAX cinema in Waterloo, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah.
I say that just because you know that manor, not because I think you run a cinema chain.
No, but I've been to that cinema.
Yeah.
The guy used to come on and say, welcome to IMAX Waterloo, the biggest screen the world has ever seen. And it used to be, whoa. And then I remember he said, I went there one and he said, the British screen Europe has ever seen. And I thought, I bet there's one in Dubai, probably. And then the last time, I don't think he says it, he said, the biggest screen that Britain, I thought, that's it. Just don't bring it up.
The biggest screen this roundabout has ever seen. I mean, that's what we're moving to. Well, after the film, you saw him, he stood up. I mean, this was a bit strange, wasn't it? Because Tom stood up and he sort of addressed the audience, forgetting perhaps he had a mask on and a polo
and it was
neck,
dark.
And it was dark.
Yeah.
And he said, do you remember exactly what he said? It was something like, great to be back at the movies.
He said I enjoyed it or something.
No, I'll tell you what he said. He said, great to be back in a movie theatre, everybody, yeah?
A movie theatre.
And the thing is, it's Tom Cruise. It's one thing him saying that as Tom Cruise, but if they just said it was a man in a black polo neck addressing people, I mean, imagine if I said that in the Everyman.
It could have been Brian Sewell.
Yeah.
I got recognised in a mask.
Did you?
Yeah, I was in a...
So it can happen. Maybe it is a documentary film that Tom put out.
But Kath, my partner, has always said to me, it's my enormous forehead that people recognise.
Wow.
So she said you can wear shades or, a mask or anything, it wouldn't make any difference. Wear a bandana, you're gone.
Right.
It's like a cloak of invisibility.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe he's got the eyes, Tom. Maybe the mask, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Tom Cruise. I noticed Tom Cruise saying, what did he call it? Film theatre? Movie theatre.
Movie theatre.
Oh, yeah.
Great to be back in a movie theatre, everyone.
It made me think of... Before I was talking about my large forehead, and it always sticks in my throat a bit. Like when I got in this morning, I explained to Sarah, the producer, that I've had toothache this week. Now, I said toothache for the first 30 years of my life, and I still want to say toothache.
Yeah.
And I still want to say forehead instead of forehead. I always said forehead.
Really?
And it's just in London, people don't know what you're talking about. But I would have said...
We'd find our way through.
I'd have said it's great to be back at the pictures if I'd have been there. I don't think anyone called it that. Yeah.
Oh.
Going to moustache, that's gone.
Would you have added?
Moustache.
Would you have added? I always enjoy a talkie.
No.
No, he's not a fan of the talkies. He's like
No.
Chaplin. He's resisting.
Yeah, I find them a bit... It's a gimmick.
I love it I love it. Chaplin held out. He wouldn't cross over.
He did in the end.
He did in the end, but he kept thinking, no, it's never going to take off.
It's like dinner and lunch now.
Oh, yeah.
My 8-year-old will still say to me, we're going to have lunch now, dinner for you.
Oh, really?
In a patronising,
Does he?
you're from the West Midlands kind of a way. Yeah, it's very...
Do you go to the obscure and say, I am not inferior to you?
I'll tell you what I have quoted. There is a song about tea. Do you know that song that goes, I like a nice cup of tea in the morning? Do you know that song?
Vaguely.
I do know that.
And then he says, about 11:30, my idea of heaven is a nice cup of tea. So that's where we are in the day. And then he says, I like a nice cup of tea with my dinner and a nice cup of tea with my tea.
Oh.
Now, that is a man who is acknowledging that lunch is really dinner. And tea is a meal that you have about 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And supper is cheese and onion sandwiches about 10:30.
Cheese and onion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all different. I think we've established that. We embrace difference on this show.
Tom Cruise was going to see the Christopher Nolan film Tenet.
Yeah.
Not tenant,
No.
No.
tenet. I wondered why it was called that, and someone said it's a palindrome. And
Well, it is a palindrome.
yes, but he's called it that because of the
palindrome,
time
a word,
space. He likes to mess around with
spells
the
the same.
time backwards.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he doesn't want to get caught in a trap of palindrome.
So it doesn't mean tenet. Does tenet mean anything?
It means both. It means tenet, as in the sort of laid down order of things.
But that's double N, isn't it? Is it double? Is the
no,
film
I
double
don't
N?
believe so. No, it's
single
single N, yes.
Well, I'll get to our house.
No, that's tenant.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very good. Very good.
I really want to hit music there. It was such a good right place, but we're too early. I got a letter from Richard Taylor. You know him?
Oh, but he sounds like he played snooker in the 70s.
Yes.
He's in the games business. I mean, the
Oh,
board
yeah.
games business.
Oh, bored.
And he's made a board, well, I don't know if he has, but he's involved with a board game called The Good Life, which he has sent a copy of. And there's a sticker on the front that says, it's from the Sunday Times, don't encourage kids to become greedy bankers with Monopoly, keep them green with this Good Life game. And I've always thought I'd like more of that advertising that really slags off other people's products. It's almost never see that on the telly. There used to be one razor advert that used to slag off another razor, but generally they
right,
just
yeah.
pretend the others. But this is Monopoly. So what you do, instead of pushing a car around, you use your wheelbarrow to move around the board to collect fruit and vegetables.
Oh,
It's called The Good Life.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Make more money as a banker.
Yeah, well, that's probably true, but it's. But thanks for that. We'll probably play it after the show.
Great to be back in the board games business, everybody.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15. People have. We'll read some out in a minute. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via the Absolute Radio Webby.
We have had a text in. We've had several, but one of the most recent that I like was, hi Frank, Alan and Emily. I was in a pub the other night and someone was eating a bag of crisps. So far, so good on this story. I think you'll agree.
I had a horrible feeling you'd stop there.
Nope.
I started to question your judgment for comedy gold.
When they finished the packet, the individual bloke blew the empty packet up with his mouth and burst it. And of course, it made a loud popping bang noise, thus scaring everyone in the room for a moment or two. People always did this in the 70s,
Yeah,
as I
they did.
recall, especially
They
in
did.
Birmingham, where I'm from. Is this a forgotten pub tradition these days? Terry from Hackney.
Well-
I bet you did that, Frank.
I did, and I tell you what, I also did what I would call the development of that, part 2, which was you finish the crisp bag and then you lie it flat on your hand and you karate chop it, and that makes it pop without having to blow it up.
Oh,
Yeah, it just traps enough in there to blow
that
the
is
end up.
good.
That's brilliant. And then what it does as well
it's
is
a
it
ninja
means
level.
the side of your hand comes up in blue and purple bruises, presumably,
No,
which
because
is
you
lovely.
You chop it into your own palm. That was all right.
okay.
Good stuff.
My partner used to put crisp packets in the oven and make small badges
Me too.
with them.
Me too. I had
People
to.
are different, aren't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
people.
I did that.
I
Stick
was
a little
karate
safety pin on
chopping them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did it with. I had a lovely Watsits. I remember.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, Frank. Frank, do you remember last week on the show we discussed weddings where someone didn't show up?
Can I just, why I think of it, because at my age I have to say it why I think of it.
Of
or it's
course.
gone.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that thing of ripping in the pub, ripping the crisp packet wide open and then doing a sort of gesture to your friends?
Not
which-
only did I do that, but I did a very popular bit of stand-up about it that I
Did
think
you?
is available on the YouTube. I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay.
Send it to you later.
I thought I was on safe ground. I thought Al will never have offered the Christmas right. I thought I'm expecting the sound of him landing on the carpet when I mentioned this. Turns out now it's part of his act.
Once upon a time.
Oh, that's lovely.
Dear. you were discussing, have you ever been to a wedding where someone didn't show up? I think you
Yes.
might have raised that, Frank.
I
last
did.
week, didn't you?
I asked that just to what would he be like?
Well, Wayne Thompson said, my cousin got married and all the men didn't turn up between the registry office until the reception because they disappeared to watch the cup final 1979 Arsenal MUFC. Hashtag pick the wrong date. But that was quite a match, I seem to remember. So they did the right thing. Daniel Morris, my parents went to their friend's fourth wedding. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
To start his speech, the best man declared, we all enjoy John's weddings, don't we? The bride got up and left.
Really? Oh, that's bad if the bride goes.
P.S. John is currently on number 5.
Is he?
Oh, John.
John sounds like he's got something about him, though.
I think John might have a bit of facial rice scarring from multiple ceremonies.
It's not putting them off, though, is it?
No, he's
still an eligible fella.
He's got that collector thing, you know. Some people used to have the NatWest China pigs, but
Also, finally, Gorgeous G12. She's been...
we've had Gorgeous G before.
We have. This is her second one. Hi, Gorgeous G. I've been to an after-do where the bride and groom didn't turn up. Sorry. Because they got arrested.
Wow.
After the registry office.
Wow. I hope he carried her over the threshold into the cell.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I want to hear about Al's time off
Oh, yeah.
for good behaviour.
The Cockrell family had a mini break. And I'm not going to say staycation because people get really annoyed about how it's not meant to be used as a holiday in the UK. It's supposed to be that you stay at home, but you do all the things touristy.
Oh, see, I thought
that's
it
what
was holiday in the
staycation
UK.
means. It means you stay in your own home, but you go and visit your local museums and have a picnic in the local good park and stuff. We didn't have that. What we did was we went to the New Forest, which
Lovely.
I've never really been to it before.
What about if you had a Chinese restaurant and you did steak in the sort of Eastern style and you called it Staycation?
That's very good.
Okay.
If anyone listening, you can add it.
I think you need to stop throwing out these quality business ideas.
I'm
to
fine.
people.
I don't have time to do another.
Well, I'm starting to think you might have been behind Grills with a Z in Birmingham, where my card was discovered recently after fraudulent activity.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Meanwhile, back in the campsite.
New
with
Forest.
That. Well, I'm what I really want to talk about is not my holiday. I'll come to it in a minute.
Al. But I do.
Why is it called the New Forest? What's the Old Forest? Sherwood?
I don't know. I mean, that's one of those. There used to be some shops by us called the New Shops, and they'd been there since before I was born.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just stuck.
Also,
New York.
Yeah.
The thing everybody talks about at the New Forest, which is great, is that there's wild horses.
They're
Yes.
lovely, those horses.
Ponies, aren't they?
Stunning.
No, there's ponies as well, but there's wild horses.
Oh, is there?
Actual wild horses.
Well, there's loads.
And they say they're wild, and then you see them up close, and they've got a little bit of cloth going under their jaw, which makes them look like
Have they?
yeah.
Toothache.
I don't know if it's toothache. I'm assuming it's a way that humans keep track of them somehow.
It sounds like 1960s comic book toothache.
Well, you know what they look like now? They look like smokers at a bus stop with the face mask under the chin. That's what they look like.
Have they honestly got stuff on?
They've got a little bit of fabric under. Somebody that lives near them will tell us
can
what
you tell
they
us
are.
why the New Forest? This is the horses, not the ponies.
There'll be someone in the
Horses.
middle. We might get Mark Kermode. He lives right bang in the middle of those ponies.
Does it
Does it?
really?
Yeah, yeah.
In a house or just right in the
I
middle of
don't
the
want to
forest?
disclose his
No,
personal details.
I think what he does, he lies on his back and then he uses his quiff as a sort of gymkhana.
That's nice for them.
Yeah, it's quite a sight to see.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
505 has been in touch with some useful information, as we like to call it on this show. The thing around the pony's throat, this is in the New Forest where
Yeah.
I was recently on a mini break. The thing around the pony's throat is a reflective collar. Whilst they all roam free, they are all owned by people.
Oh,
Are they?
Didn't know that.
No, that spoilt it a bit.
yeah.
I thought that was it. They were wild.
Well, they say wild horses. It's like some of the road signs say, and some of the bump, when you're reading about the area.
I'm struggling every time you say wild horses. I really want to go,
difficult, isn't it?
wild horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're owned.
Turns out.
So they're not wild horses.
But I would like to ask you a question about collective nouns. And I know it almost feels like, well-trodden comedy territory when people go, a murder of crows or whatever the sharks one is, the school. I encountered a new one recently, and I don't know if it's a real one or if it's just a quirk of my brother-in-law's speech. He said, when we were there, we'd had a bagel, like the kids had a bagel with peanut butter.
We all had a bagel.
Yeah, we'd all had a
It did have the
bagel.
manner of we'd all had a bagel. Absolutely right.
And then as he was leaving, he said, there's another sleeve of bagels in the kitchen if you're interested.
I like that.
It's quite it's like he's ecclesiastical, Frank.
But
Is he in a mariachi band?
But he's
a sleeve of bagel.
I mean, I feel in both ways. Like, I think it could be a thing that it's a collective noun. People talk about a sleeve of bagels, or it could be a quirk of his that he doesn't even, he won't care if I'm making fun of him on the radio about it.
I'm thinking that he's talking about that packet that they come in.
Yeah.
That long thing. So I don't think he's a collective noun for bagels.
No.
But sleeve,
No.
I've never said sleeve in my life.
It's nice
in
though,
that
isn't it?
context.
I'm just thinking, but you could have a sleeve of biscuits. I think you could just as easily have a sleeve of biscuits.
Oh,
Sorry,
we never
can we
said
all
that.
stop pretending sleeve is a thing with food?
Oh, it is now.
I think it makes absolute sense.
Well, I have to say it's very catchy because I haven't thought of bagels without thinking of sleeves since he said it. It's and if you get like a big load of burger buns, those sort of 12, I consider those now a suitcase or an attaché case of burger buns.
I mean, if you're going to wear your heart on your sleeve, it's much safer to wear it on a sleeve of bagel.
Yeah.
Sleeve of bagels. I'm sure that's a Sherlock Holmes story, isn't it? A sleeve of bagels.
So it's not a thing. Is that what you're telling me? That it's a quirk of his?
Have you ever said sleeve, honestly, Frank, outside of this show?
Other than shirt sleeve or something like that? No, I haven't. But you know what? I might now.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I'm going to use it as a phrase forever.
I'm trying to think what we buy by the sleeve. I think you can get a sleeve of wine gums. I seem to remember they used to come in like a long see-through.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I only bought them for lying down. I didn't actually eat them.
Yeah.
So you went on you were in a caravan, is that right?
We stayed in a little campsite in New Milton. Not a campsite where people can go and camp, but a place where it's got like, I want to say static caravans, those things.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, it was a little tired. It was
and that's New Milton. What must Old Milton be like?
Exactly. They only had 3 dinner chairs and we're a family of 4. There was one of the chairs had broken. A previous guest had broken a chair.
I've never heard of a dinner chair.
Like a dining room chair.
Yeah.
But I came up with an inventive solution to it.
Oh,
Go on.
What did you do?
I said to my family, all right, each day we have to keep our eyes out for one of us saying something really stupid, and then they have to eat separately from us at dinner time.
It's subjective.
It was mostly me.
I thought that's a musical chair solution. Screaming out there.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
You were talking just now, or Al, do you want to remind us how your brother-in-law referred to the bagels?
He said there's another sleeve of bagels in the kitchen.
So some of our readers have got in touch regarding their sort of sleeve usage. Jules McLean, my husband, says there's a sleeve of tennis balls.
Oh, yeah.
He also says golf balls come in sleeves.
Yes.
Rich says watches.
A sleeve of watches?
Because they're presented on a sort of...
Does he work on the black market?
They're presented on a sort of velvet sleeve, I
See, a watch
suppose.
thief.
Oh, yeah, there is
see?
that sort of thing.
I say velvet, faux velvet. And then someone has also forwarded us, I think it's Liz Hartney, her forthcoming Nespresso delivery, because it says our capsules are packaged in sleeves, each containing 10 capsules.
And of course, you can get a sleeve of police dogs. You know, when you see police dog training, the man running away always has a fat sleeve that he sort of holds out for the dog to bite.
The police, what music would they always play at that? What song would you think of? I'd think of... Well,
it's a bit more fun. The actual... chase intruder. Yeah. But when those dogs actually chase real intruders, they must have been thinking it was like a very bad baton handover in the relay. Come on, get your arm out. What are you doing? Get your arm out. You know how it works. They used to get them at in the park, like at the fetes, summer fetes. You'd get they used to jump through hoops of fire. And stuff, the police dog.
Is the Alsatian still the police dog of choice?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And also used to get the police motorcycle display team who used to form a human pyramid on the back of a bike. I mean...
Very good.
Why don't the police go on about community policing? If they're travelling around like that, people would... You know, they'd get a sort of Red Arrows affection.
You asked earlier why people turned against Crocs, because when they came in, like, they were widely regarded as cool. People thought they were great.
They were,
They were innovative and stylish, I think, were your exact words.
They had everything. I still feel like, but most people, not just gone off them, but I'm talking about the croc mockery, which is...
yes, crockery.
Croc mockery, it's everywhere.
082 has said, hi team, I think it was to do with the people eager to adopt them, frequently paired as they were with a pair of 3/4 length trousers. Certain middle-aged friends of mine did this. I tend not to see them anymore.
Wow.
But you see, again, that's a big reaction.
Whereas Uggs have stayed acceptable.
Not entirely.
No, they are still acceptable.
I don't know this is a old-fashioned thing, but I still man Uggs I have a problem with.
Oh, yes. No one's suggesting we do a Ronnie Wood on it.
The Ronnie Wood black man.
I'm just saying... Or Lawrence Fox. I'm just saying...
Does he wear them?
Is he a character?
I always associate with some sort of soreness. I think people thinking, I can't wear a proper shoe. I couldn't wear anything with a proper seam. I'll have to Ugg my way through. If your feet are very bad, you can maybe just wear an Ugg sleeve on the calf.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
My tour manager, Omar, has sent me a picture of himself in the fake Crocs. I mean, is that legal? Am I all right having that on my phone?
No.
I don't know.
Well, I haven't seen the picture. I'm not quite sure what else is happening in it.
I don't know how litigious the Crocs people are.
Good question. 660, Nasher of Bedford, who's one of our regular...
Hi, Nasher.
Hi all. In the days of vinyl, the cover that the record came in was known as a sleeve.
Yeah.
I think we knew
That's
that.
True.
Yeah.
And there was an inner sleeve, of course.
And then he says... funny that records also have holes in the middle, much like bagels.
Oh, maybe it's just that then. Do you get a sleeve of polos?
Oh.
No.
Okay.
What about...
That Nasher, there's a programme that my son is obsessed with called Dennis and Nasher Unleashed. It's on CBBC. And the theme tune is sort of heavy guitar, and they're going Dennis, Nasher, Dennis, but the way it's distorted, it really sounds like Dennis Thatcher.
Oh.
And it's really weird, these rock voices screaming Dennis Thatcher over and over. It seems it's not a thing you ever heard even when he was in his pomp in the 80s.
No.
Although it could have been one of those punk bands in the late 70s.
Dennis Thatcher.
I've had some sleeve correspondence.
Oh, yeah.
David, he says in Glasgow, a carton of cigarettes is known as a sleeve of fags.
Is it really?
I believe so, yeah.
I like that.
No Stranger says the same. Cigarettes come in sleeves. A 200 pack is known as a sleeve. And Michael says, a friend of mine once told me he ate a whole sleeve of Weetabix.
I like that friend on 2 counts there. Big appetite and interesting vocabulary.
There used to be a thing about 3 shredded wheat. Was that the thing? That if you had 3 shredded wheat, you were... I remember Ian Botham did an advert which suggested his masculinity had been...
Was it sort of implied it was a feat that very few humans could achieve?
I think it was, yeah.
Ridiculous.
We've also had some interesting information on the New Forest, the New Forest. Your question about the New Forest ponies has been answered, and they are all owned by commoners who have grazing rights on the forest. They are occasionally rounded up, and there are regular auctions in guineas. However, they aren't broken in. I guess that means tamed.
I thought there'd be regular auctions in Winnies.
Visitors, however, try to feed and pet them, and this is not good. It brings them into the car parks and campsites and onto the roads. Also, feeding them messes up their digestion, can make them ill, and interferes with the job of grazing on the forest. Cows and pigs are also released. The pigs eat the acorns, which are poisonous for the ponies.
How do the cows...
They're helping each other out.
I think they're thinking of the Moo Forest.
No, there were cows there. We saw them.
Well, I never saw
yeah.
any. I like the idea of the horses and ponies being on the campsite.
Yeah.
You know when you got to go to like the shower block and it's dark? Just get on a horse.
Shower block.
You know the shower block?
No, I don't.
You used to see people walking confidently to the shower block and then coming back falling over guide ropes and stuff because they hadn't got their lenses in anymore. Oh, anyway. Well, look, we're near the end, and it's been as ever. You know what? We did a pre-record and stuff last week. Being in the studio is so good, isn't it?
Nice.
It's like a different makes me happy. Anyway, thank you for all your texts and all your involvement. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.